Welcome everyone to the 71st Cash Knowledge Seekers Workshop. It's July 23rd, 2015, and we'll start the workshop with the promotional video from the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute.
Where does humanity go from here? What have we tried to do? What if there is more, much more? The Keshe Foundation is proud to announce a new way to bring humanity forward through technology that brings humanity in line with the natural operation of the planet and universe itself. The new science and technology discovered and developed by the nuclear engineer Moran Keshe centers upon the use and control of magnetical gravitational fields. This new body of knowledge opens the road to hundreds of potential applications, which offer solutions to most of the fundamental problems of the world, such as water, food, environmental contamination, and shortages of energy. The Keshe Foundation is proud to unveil the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Nestled amidst the beautiful shores of Bari, Italy, the Institute is poised to become a central hub in the spreading of plasma technology and knowledge. With its state-of-the-art 21st century facilities, the Institute will be able to provide students and staff an immersive way to learn the plasma technology, to be the leaders of the new generation of scientists and plasma engineers. The Keshe Foundation has opened the door to the world for peaceful usage of technology that is independent of the limited resources that are available on Earth. This is an understanding of how everything works together in harmony in our universe, and it applies to everything from the smallest to the biggest, from atoms to galaxies. We all are able to collectively work together in pursuit of knowledge, innovation, and solutions for our society. This learning environment is new to the world, where there will be no test to confirm your understanding. The knowledge of everyone will be respected and allowed to flourish in a nurturing environment. Hands-on testing and experimenting will be widely used in conjunction with roundtable discussions to bring all opinions and knowledge forward. Students will be introduced to a change in the ethos of working in collaboration. Students will experience firsthand how we share knowledge in a free and open manner. Graduating students are expected to share the knowledge they gain from the university within the respective communities and nations. All formal teachings, lectures, and presentations will be in the English language, with technology available for immediate translation. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will be offering 3-year executive master programs for undergraduate degree students and 1-year executive master programs for graduate degree students in the following fields: space transportation, new plasma technology, health, agriculture, materials, energy. The health section is designed to make students able to live in space without the need to return to Earth. To this end, the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute has found processes for many diseases including ALS, cancer, coma, epilepsy, multiple sclerosis. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will offer online teaching courses which will enable anyone, anywhere around the world to enroll and increase their knowledge and understanding. Students will have the opportunity to direct their work towards commercial spin-offs and seek funding through the help of the Keshe Foundation. The access to the new science and new technologies is openly available for peaceful use to the benefit of mankind to make a better world today. Now you can be part of the changing world and the new knowledge. All commercial spin-offs are intended to be open source and patent-free. This is part of the core ethos of the Keshe Foundation and the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will have its official inauguration on April 21st, 2015, with courses commencing soon after on May 4th, 2015. The students of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will be the leaders of the future who will make changes in all areas of space technology, science, medicine, agriculture, and energy. Anyone is able to apply, but acceptance is through invitation only. No prerequisites are required. We will be accepting approximately 250 students for the 3-year Executive Master's Program and 120 students for the 1-year Executive Master's Program. We welcome humanities participation in the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Where does humanity go from here? That is up to you. Apply today.
Okay, that was the promo video for the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And let's see if we can get back to Mr. Keshe now at the Spaceship Institute. There we go. I think there he is. Hello, Mr. Keshe. How are you today?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
I
absolutely.
forgot to turn the machine on. Old age, forgetfulness is part of it. Welcome to the 71st Teaching Live Workshop. Today we will change the course of humanity in so many ways by teaching a little bit more, and together we'll see the changes which is coming in. We know in time...
Oops, a little bit of feedback there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, seems good now.
Okay. In time, as it comes with the next 7 days, we will open the door in so many aspects of the technology which has not been seen. The reason for this development is that I think the time has come for the knowledge seekers to be able to understand worldwide that the whole process of the teaching has come to a point of conclusion, or at least the conclusion, an end to the use of matter, and beginning of living within the structure of what we call plasma. As I explained to the knowledge seekers in the past couple of weeks, I brought the knowledge of matter into a very smooth way over the past few years, and very rapidly in the past 12 months, and then in the past 2 or 3 weeks, from understanding of the term of the matter to the term of structure of the plasma, which leads to existence of matter at the strength. So what we did, we showed you how to use matter to, as a molecular, like a copper plate, to make it into its individual as a nano, which this is how we evolved. We came from the plate. Where are the wires? Have they all moved out, or do you have them there? Thank you very much. We came in from the matter state to producing, separating the structure of the matter to its individual condition, what we call nano. And this process I posted on the internet some 10 years ago, 8-10 years ago. And then in the past year, we taught how nano in a single atomic molecule can be changed to what we call the GANs, which is plasma in a state of freedom, but in the atmospheric condition. This was what has been against all the known physics up to this point. How could we see gases in a solid state condition? Solid state means visible to man, and we managed to do this very comfortably by showing you how all of you changed producing gas of carbon dioxide, CO2, and as you see the knowledge seekers in the past few days, they even managed to dry some and make a gas dry to look as is matter state. But now, in the past 7 days, 10 days, we have taken the technology into its penultimate condition, which is the plasma. Which means We do not rely on the matter field strength. We rely on a magnetic gravitational field strength, which means from now on, we don't see the entity, but we rely with the trust of our knowledge that the entity gives us what we like. This process started with you over a year ago, and a lot of you could not see it. It caused a lot of problem for a lot and gave a very good free run for the critics due to their ignorance. What we did for you to believe and trust was, as they say, proof of the pudding is in eating it. In the beginning, in the Sensano, we introduced the star formation set with the gases to create plasma. This is the style of the system, which has been further developed by the Iranian government and the Russian government, and now has been negotiated with Americans for the new space. But this technology is obsolete, totally, even though it's on the edge of science for some scientists. In pushing the technology beyond the understanding of the present science, we went a step further. We produced systems and we placed plasma in a gas state in these reactors, and with it, we created a condition of creating a green energy, a new unknown, what we call a free plasma. This free plasma, the frame of the work of one of the original ones is still here. This is the set. And with this set, we created a 129 Tesla. 129 Tesla was criticized as to be a hawk, but now the ones who call it a hawk understand they never understood a thing. Because in that way, with 129, knowing that we created a free plasma, we created a demand for it by setting the gas reactors, which we used, developed powered by the Iranian government, which was brought back to Europe, that the demand from this, which is weaker than the newest style of energy, created a flow of 129 Tesla. At that time, ignorance called us brave, and we sent our system for testing, confirmed there was nothing wrong with the equipment measuring, and we left it. Now, months later, what we did to prove that this exists, we set up the new system. Exactly the same. Try to use a black that you can see. These pens are running out. What we've done now to prove that this elusive plasma exists, and you can believe it, is that we built a system, we added a weight to it, and we saw the weight to go up and down from 11.16 to 10.6, and then built it up to 13.8 kilograms. So we reduced by 500 grams, and we increased by about 3 kilos. But still, there were critics. But it was a way to show that you're ignorant is not the technology, which is not correct. So in the past few weeks, we've gone to a new step where we placed a plasma of a star formation. You were happy to see a magic with the beads, which Alex brought you, and we put the reactor up somewhere else. And what we saw, we're connecting this more or less in the position of the free plasma here. We start draining power from the environment of the GANs of the materials rotating in the reactors. What we have seen in the past 3 weeks today, because Alex brought the system, showed us how to bind it 3 weeks ago. In 3 weeks, what is the reading this morning? 86.3, 15.7. So that's 6070 kilowatt hour. We are not talking about millivolts and milliamps. We are talking 70 kilowatt hour of energy has been put into Italian national grid. Italian government has indicated yesterday they are watching technology very closely. We have received a communication in writing. They have started monitoring the health section, especially. They see a breakthrough and the energy production. In time, we release the paper from the authorities. So, in that point, we see now the 129 was not imaginary. Now we are converting energy which is there to energy which is usable. We have charged a motorbike, and within the next day or two, the first car fully run on plasma technology will be done in Italy. It's already been made ready. All we need to do is positioning it, and then we put it live on the internet. We take, if we fail, we take critics, but we are confident that we might have a breakthrough. So now, this is where the change has come. Matter into nano separation, nano in total separation to a GaNs, a further opening of the GaNs because it's a plasma condition to its natural condition, which is actually, this is exactly how the universe is. So now we have entered the golden age of universal energy because we see exactly what it does. We can measure it from energy point of view. In the coming days, in the coming weeks, I have explained to Armand and Marco how we are going to produce food, materials out of this energy. Not just by production of energy that you can consume to feed the grid. So what we've seen is a revolution that as of today, we have broken away from matter state energy. But there is one fundamental point. Do we need any matter to be able to produce the plasma? No, because it's the plasma which leads to the creation of matter. Why do you want to work with a junior when you have the top guy in your hand? Why do you want to work within the restriction of transportation where this doesn't need to be transported? It's freely available anywhere in the universe. Because to prove this is correct, yesterday we switched off all the motors which have a GaN system in it. And we've seen the same amount of energy production from the system. So it means there is no need for presence of GaNs. If you get it right, and if you can create the demand to see it through. So all the energy systems, which is presently made based on matter, is finished with. Because anybody, anywhere now can make a system which can tap into the universal energy system at zero cost. Totally zero. But know what you're doing, know how you're setting it up, then you can produce motion, then you can produce food, then you can produce matter. Today is a wonderful day for humanity if humanity understands what is on the table, what's been offered. We went through the age of donkeys, what we call industrial revolution, with the water, use of water. We went through electrification, and now went through the nuclear, and now we come to the ultimate goal. But there is another step after this, which the man is not ready for yet. And this is why I warned my government last week, do not sign the documents, because I show you it's obsolete. So in that respect, plasma technology, the way hundreds of thousands of people have learned, has come to the point to release man from the shackle of the material world. If you know how to use it, if you know how to manipulate it, you can produce whatever you desire anywhere in the universe, not just on Earth. You can produce, as we explained to the knowledge seekers in the teachings, crafts which they look tangible, but they're actually made of plasma. This is the way your body is made. This is how the skin of your body is come by the interaction of the gravitational magnetic field of 3 layers, which leads to the feasibility and physicality of your skin. Because we have shown it, when you have 3 different composite gas mixtures, you lead to a layer just above it of tangibility of the skin. We see it with the upper layer of Saturn, as I keep on telling you. Now you understand why. So to build the spacecraft of the future, we do not need to have any material, because we decided what it's going to be, what the strength is going to have, how it's going to shape by the design, by interaction of different fields in the structure of the space reactors. Today is the last public workshop before we break up and some of our students go back home. You're leaving on Sunday. But next Thursday, we will bring a breaking news which might lead to change of a couple of governments. It's important. We'll make it very secure. We keep it to a minimum. But the information released will most probably lead to the resignation of the Japanese government. It's designed for that purpose, to show that transparency should not be abused. We warned the Japanese government, and now we act on it. This is not to threat. This shows knowledge has to be free and freely transparent. We supported the Japanese government with Fukushima. We supported the Japanese government with the contamination of the waters of Fukushima and the land. And instead, they kicked back in the wrong way, because they thought they became millionaires the way we showed them with the gold. Now we show them how the gold they thought they have is a fool's gold. So now we set the step in a direction to show that the plasma technology has to be available to every man on this planet unconditionally. It's him who decides how much energy he wants, how much material he wants, how much he wants to have a shelter, and where he wants to reside. Because with this new technology, you can live anywhere you like. So there is a need for a one nation, one planet, because now no one can dictate to no man where to live. It's us who decides to contribute to a central bank that looks after the whole needy around the world. We take this structure out because it's been abused by too many nations under leadership. So in the coming days, one of the Keshe Foundation core team members will move to Africa, and we received a communication that South African government authorities are looking into Keshe Foundation for energy, and African nations will appoint 3 African nationals, people who came originally from Africa, to look at the African continent. One is already in Africa, one is in the United States, and Alex joins them from United Kingdom. He's taken the responsibility for Nigeria and the rest, and he's already started teaching in Nigeria beforehand. So these 3 guys become responsible for the continent. And we bring Africa into line very rapidly. Within the next 6 months, any knowledge seekers who wants to move to Africa, not as missionary, but as scientists to bring up new sciences, will support, we finance, and we guarantee that technology will go to Africa primarily. There is a huge change of course. Up to yesterday, it was the Keshe Foundation as me and a bunch of people who support us. As of last 2 days ago, now Keshe Foundation has become a national asset for Chinese people, because without any attachment, they have built up their own research center and their own teaching facilities to come into it. So it is now nationals who are doing for themselves, and the Chinese get a full support from me in every shape or form to make sure that they reach their target, because now it's an independent national entity. We see this coming up with India. We start supporting a young chap, especially him, that shows the knowledge is for the youth. The old cannot block, because when the youth flood the market with new technology, the old have to follow. So we set up a number of research centers fully supported by the Keshe Foundation, from the finances we receive through our books and other things to support this development. Within next 6 months, all resources from Keshe Foundation will go into research centers. And this morning, as a gift to all the work Rick has done for us for the Keshe Foundation, we have offered him to open the Keshe Foundation Research Center in Canada, and we support it fully. The standard has to be as high as possible. Anybody who works with us will be paid as a level as a scientist around the world. That scientists do not move from one country to another for payment, because now they can have whatever they like. We support them. We pay them at a level which we think is right for the foundation. And accordingly, people like Alex, in return from his whatever comes from the development of his technology, he has donated all his work to the Nigerian government nationals. So it goes back to Nigeria and African nations. So we know how we work. He works the same as us. And this is how we'll go. Because from now on, in a very rapid way, as you've seen it, plasma technology, the way now you understand it, has become a tool for life. We don't discuss, we don't fight, we don't argue. We let anyone say whatever they like, because we have got the target we need. The one who try to obstruct, these are the agents of the governments paid to do. So we leave it to them to do all the things they want to do, because while they are busy modeling, we are busy serving. So it comes to one point. From now on, in the Keshe Foundation, we use the structure, but now we learn, we finish with this side. From now on, all the concentration is on plasma, use of a plasma, absorption of the plasma, understanding the structure of the plasma, how it works, how it interacts, what is its existence. When you talk about the human being, you talk about his head, his arms, his legs, his intestine. Now, as of this week, I start opening the structure of the plasma for the knowledge seekers, to understand how it is, where is his heart, where is his arms, how he says hello, how he thinks, how he distributes. And this takes a couple of months, and then we'll let them loose in the labs, not to work with beads, but to work with the beads of plasma. Armand and Marco already started that process. So we are in that step, which means you are detached from making GANs. You don't need to make GANs anymore. But making GANs, because you're human and everything we do has to be tangible to touch to believe, we let you believe. It was the only way. They say a father can say, a child, don't touch the fire, till the child doesn't listen and touch the fire and gets burned, and knows there is something there, even if it's not tangible. So we took you through the whole process. You had the material you used to for centuries. The GANs was, the GANs became worse than nanolayer, but still there, I see it, I have to believe it. We put it there, you see the use of its energy, now you can run things with it. So you believe in your own ignorance, and now you understand the mother sits here. So now, in the coming days, we open the plasma. Because now you come to a new country, you have to learn the work of the country. You start using a new system, you have to understand how it works. It's not as simple as just north and south, in and out. It's how it goes in, how it comes out. How does it interact with one next door, but at the same time has its fingers in billions of puddings across the universe, every planet, every star. This is something which you got to learn. They say we are in Italy. All the roads end up in Rome. But if you understand the work of the plasma, all the roads end up in the plasma which is in your hand. Because through the structure of downsizing and downloading, where it started from a galaxy, field reduced, became whatever you want to call it, planet, stars, human being, and now you learn the process. Go up, you go to stars in the galaxy, go up, you go into the universe. So you have already connection with every entity, does not matter how they're diverse, what galaxies they become. Now, through the plasma technology, we show you a new road which ends up in Rome. Doesn't matter wherever you are, because you are the Rome, whatever you decide. There is a report from China, the fat boy, when somebody goes near it, it shows reaction to it. You'll see their reading, their position today or tomorrow, whenever they release their video to us. So, if you remember, when I saw the fat boy the first time, I said, this boy will do what you need to do. And now we see it. He's lost weight in the past few days. And now the thing is ready for flight, but we have to see what they bring us from the Chinese research center. They've come to the point that in creating a balance, they have created a connection with the universal energy, with the universal line of communication. But the only problem is, if they don't be careful, they might one day come to the lab, then there is no big boy. The fat boy is gone. Because it has two opportunities. They might see a hole in the ceiling, it's gone through, or it creates a field which will not be seen, but it still sits in the room. So, what I said 2-3 weeks ago when we saw the fat boy the first time, you've seen it is doing what it's supposed to do because I know how it's designed, and it goes with the soul of the guy who made it. He made it to do what he wanted to serve. And we see it does. Because when people go near it, they go with the intention, and he understands the intention. He shows what I told you, and we showed the core on the table of the Keshe Foundation in the Sensano. He feels. And now you've seen it. We've shown this before, and it shows, it knows what people can do, and we are leading to that position. In the coming days, we'll show technology independent of any matter state, only plasma state. Power supplies, production of food, production of material, totally independent of matter state. Because these two guys have already started the procedure. I explained to them what I need to be done, and the unity of these two. We're waiting for a third guy to turn up next week, then there'll be mayhem. And then we'll see how we're going to go. Because from now on, you do not need, are you available? No. So we see how it's going. Because, as I said, it's not a talk. You see here very clearly there is no system. There is no attachment except power supply attachment. I can show it to you from the other side. We switch every kind of motion around this system off. And you see, you can take this anywhere you like. It still gives you energy. When Alex brought the bead, he said, you need this. But we had to go through his way, that it confirms to you that it was a need something because it had a connection with a set. Now you see, it doesn't need any set. And if you understand a little bit more, you will understand the energy hardly comes from this. The energy comes from the transfer of one bead to another, one galaxy to another, one star to another. You have made in the center core a galaxy unit, which is within another galaxy unit, you call it the universe. And because the material in every bead is not the same, you have created transfer of energy from one bead to another. And what is surplus is given out and is taken out. You can put this in a black box. You still get the same result. So you have seen you become independent of the matter state, and plasma is the ultimate goal. But because with you lot, everything has to be there, otherwise it's a magic, it's false. Now you see, you've done it yourself. You cannot deny your own existence. So you cannot deny what you built, and you're so confident that yesterday, today, and tomorrow, you build more to confirm I do exist. It's correct. When this does, you cannot deny it. Then you understand the next step. This is the psychological pattern which the man has made for himself. Because if I tell you anything, it's just him. Now thousands of you are doing it. Hundreds of thousands of people want to get rid of this material condition, and now you've seen a path. The problem is how they are going to stop you, or you allow them to stop you now that you know. At the moment, the biggest problem for the Chinese government is transmission of power to the point of demands in major cities. Today, once the Keshe Foundation completes the center and we send the news, and I'm sure they can do it before I do, and give it to the people appropriate position to take it to the government, transmission lines become a history. Saves billions of dollars for the Chinese government. I support the Chinese Keshe Foundation to the limit to change that within the next few months, the smokes over Beijing and Shanghai will be all the story. As you know, the same situation existed before 1960s in London. People used to burn so much coal that in London, in the winter time, it was a black smoke. Nobody could see anything till they banned certain type of coal and they cleaned the air. Now the same process with China. We give them the technology. They already received it, complete it, give it to the nation. No more smoke. Beijing and Shanghai within months will be cleaned up without spending any money. Because what you don't put in, it cannot come out to destroy. We've seen the cars running. We have about a 2-kilometer track in a new research center. Anybody who likes, you can come and drive the car 24 hours a day on shifts. You can drive to Italy. You're Italian, you love to drive a car. We give you a truck and a car. Drive it till the car stops because it cannot, run anymore because the tires are worn out. The battery will still be there. I especially choose this center because it gives us a lot of freedom for testing. And as you know, Keshe Foundation moves out of this building end of next week because we discovered the owners of this building are involved in highly criminal activities we were not aware of. We were brought over here by trust. So I move out before they go to prison, that we don't get tempted. It's a highly criminal organization which Professor Lutzi brought us into this he was fully aware of it. And for that reason, we cut all communication with Absolute C in a very clean way. Because you don't bring a technology into the hand of people when you know there is something wrong. So the new research center becomes the center for excellence of plasma technology, a special program, all in one building. Lecture rooms, everything set up. We already worked there. It's just a matter of finishing bits off in next month while you're away. And then we start teaching totally in a different way, but totally on a plasma. Nobody can come and tell you, you can't touch, plasma is dangerous. If the plasma is dangerous, you're living in the plasma, you're made of the plasma, so you must be more dangerous than actually what you think you're working with. So the point of accusation by the agents of the governments as clothes of the lamb opens their hand. They are the people who planned my assassination as friends and stood to watch me to be killed. Closest people who claim they are friends are the people who planned for assassination and the murder. Because they knew, and stupidly, in writing on the internet, they opened their hands that they knew. We open the books, and then we shall see how friends were assassins, close, keeping an eye, transferring energy and information. Because in writing, unaware of it, they showed that even my arrest in Canada was planned by him. And the rest. They thought they're right. We took a copy and we read, and it's something which nobody knew, not even us, has come to light, which shows how I was arrested in Canada. And only agents know, not normal people. And I didn't know. So we see how we change. Let's understand what this new plasma is. This was what we came to understand when we nano-coated the copper or any other material. When we added caustic or we added electricity, current, or different methods, we managed to separate the atoms from compactness into individuality, or what we call nanomaterials, which means they became like this. This is the last layer of matter. This is the first layer of nano. So in doing this, what we did, we put it in the water. Putting it in the water, in the salt water, we created a gravitational magnetic field which allowed these gaps to open up, and it just opening enough released the individual, but now individual atoms now become free as a plasma. We call it the GANs. So the salt water became gravitational magnetic field, which created enough gap that the last one could free itself from the environment. And this is how you produce the GANs. Now, what you have in this water has become a very free plasma, or it's become what we call as the GANs. And in becoming a free plasma, does not behave as a solid. It is actually magnetic field. What you see as a GANS is a magnetic field, which possesses both magnetical and gravitational at the same time. This being gravity going in, and this being magnetical or repulsion going out. Maybe it's better to do it this way. Because when it came to the boundary, you got to understand this very clearly. What you see as a GANS is from here all the way to here. So this is what you see with your eye. The rest is hidden inside the pack. This is what is visual to you. This is what you see. Before you had the copper, you could feel it. That was what it is. But in fact, this is billions of these compacted together, gives you this feeling. Now you have a sponge. You have an open field, which the environment which is in the magnetic field of the environment which sits in dictates is manifestation. Depending if you see this or if you see this, this is white, let's say CO2, this is CuO2. Because copper oxide has a more energy, so it must be from more inner side, not from the outer side. When you go to the continuation of this, here from here to here is, for example, hydrogen. As you go further open, in respect to the field strength, even though all the plasmas looks the same size and shape, there's a different interaction with the environment according to the strength. When you have the sun and the earth, the interaction of gravitational magnetic field of the two systems with interaction of the gravitational magnetic field of the hydrogen and oxygen in conjunction with the gravitational magnetic field of the center of the earth leads to the manifestation of the blue planet. It looks blue because it's multiple interactions. When you see another planet with different combination, with different atmospheric interaction, you see red. You see red planet. You see blue planet. You see gold planet. Because this is a composite interaction. Here in the GANS is very limited composite. You've got oxygen, hydrogen, and copper because it sits in the water. If you change your water content, put some potassium in it.
Mr. Kesh?
Yes?
Sorry, I think we have some issues with live stream. We're still going. We're still going on YouTube, but I think Rick has lost his internet connection. Can we just have just a couple moment break while we try to get Rick back?
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome everyone. We're back on the 71st Cash Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, July 23rd. This is part 2. We were interrupted with some sort of major internet malfunction at my end. And now we'll go back to the workshop, and I believe we'll be able to connect with Mr. Kesh there and the other
Hello.
knowledge seekers. Hi, Mr. Kesh. Sorry about that. That sort of
Yeah, don't worry.
auspicious interruption.
Rude interruption, more like it.
We mentioned setting up a research institute in Canada, and all of a sudden the internet goes down. That's a funny coincidence, but
It's to do your prime minister. He loves you too much. He loves you
that's right.
too much. So, what we try to explain. Can I start or shall I stop?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Go ahead. Okay. So what we're trying to say, I don't know what you heard or what you did not hear, was that this is the color I'm missing. Was that what we see, it depends on the environment which you are. If, for example, we change the environment, gravitational magnetic field, what you see as color of CO2 white, you will see most probably green if you are in this environment strength. So it's the environmental gravitational magnetic field which dictates what fields at what strength interact, and if copper oxide is that color, and this is part of the environment gravitational magnetic field. Now you see the CO2 as green here, because this is now in that condition. So what is important to understand from now on, that we analyze both gravitational and magnetical fields. If you call the blue line the magnetical, and then the red line gravitational, you'll find out a very simple thing. First of all, if gravitational sits outside, that all the magnetical fields are within a strength, you get a different property and behavior as if the magnetical field was further outside the gravitation. When you have magnetical more prominent, you get darker because you absorb most of the spectrum. The darkness, the lightness indicates to you if you're dealing in a gravitational point or in a magnetical point. Because gravitational point is exactly like these wires. Gravitates, absorbs most of the fields. So what is absorbed cannot be refracted, cannot be free for interaction. In matter state, you call it absorbed. In a plasma state, we call it free to interact, because you can never absorb it, but you lock it yourself, so it's not available to interact with others. So when you get this, you understand if you're in a gravitational field zone, denser than magnetical, or you're in a magnetical field zone, stronger than gravitation. So in a space, part of the understanding is the color of what you absorb, which strength you absorb. At the same time, you have to look for the magnetical field strength too. is not that you deal with one ray. You have to leave to work with two rays, what we call the field forces. In fact, the reality is much, much simpler than what you could ever imagine. Let me see if these people have been nice enough to leave my magnets alone. Has anybody seen the rest of my rings? No, I had a bunch of spherical magnets here I've been teaching with. You see, if you put these down as plasmas and considering a line of interaction internally, no, they were here. There were a bunch of few cylindrical ones here yesterday. They've been here all the time. Doesn't matter. So what you got to look, if you look this as any of these to be both gravitational and magnetical, so here you have the gravitation, and here you have the magnetical. But in reality, if you look, we take this out, the magnetical, as it goes in, excuse me, cameraman, better come closer. As your magnetical goes in, and the gravitational strength too, you got to ask yourself, how much magnetical can bring out that, and where it comes from? What is the point of switch from magnetical to gravitational? Otherwise, you have only pull or you have push. If you take this as a star, as a planet, you look that the field forces come out and they go back in. And these field forces come out and they go back in, and depending on the strength of the source in respect to it, some will join into the line of connection with other planetary systems. But this is all magnetical or gravitational. So the other one is the magnetical field forces. The other one, this blue, is magnetical, and the red is gravitational. Oh, what the red? And the red is gravitational. But, as usual, gravitational field forces leak out as much as do the magnetical. So, where does the field switch in the strength? What becomes magnetical and what becomes gravitational? What is the point of change from one to another? And does it happen randomly? Don't forget now, you're looking into the structure of the working of the plasma. You're not looking into the field transfer. You're looking, as you look across the section of the Earth or the Sun, Where is the changing point? Where and what decides what is going to be emitted as magnetical or gravitational? What's the point of change? If you don't understand this point of change, you'll never be able to control your systems in flight conditions. Impossibilities. You can't control what material you build, how it's going to behave, and how it's going to have interaction in respect to the others. As I said yesterday, you start for the first time cutting through the structure of the plasma, that you see it, you understand it. Yesterday I explained the condition of the fields in an outer boundary, if you look, how they behave. But in the structure of the plasma inside, where is the Poynting change? What becomes magnetical, which was gravitational, and gravitational, which became magnetical? Because this is, and if you can understand this switching point, then you decide the switching. You decide in what point you want to change this to this. Or you want to change this to this. Because this is now a tool of control, the tool of approaching, tool of descending, tool of making a banana or making a stone. If you make a mistake, your banana becomes a stone, you can't eat the stone. So you have to understand how, where, and when the switching point comes. What is the trigger point? Or do we have a pot of fields? Doesn't matter, whatever comes out, potluck. But it cannot be potluck, because if it was a potluck, it will not stay green all the time. It will keep on changing color. So there is an order. There is an order how much gravitational, there is an order how much mechanical, leave the total center mass. Now we're dealing with plasma physics. We're not dealing with a matter state. I keep on repeating that the schizophrenic does not build in. We have a plasma officer. He's on the sleep tonight. We don't know where it is. So I try to be the officer on both sides. So what is the interaction? This here, if you look at it, this is your system you built. Is for flight and is releasing gravitational magnetic field in the soup of the universal fields. But on its way, decides to link up with the field of this guy here, or let's say here. So let's say this field is the magnetical field of Mars or Moon. And this magnetical field here is the gravitational field of the Moon to your craft. So how do you fly? How do you move yourself from there to there, understanding the principle of the change? Because what you change in the center will reflect the strength. So this is strength. If you use the change of the release of a stronger, now instead of coming at the weaker point, you join the stronger point of gravitational point. This was the speed of light. This is speed of light to the power of 3, let's say, or to the power of 10, let's say. So if this would have taken you 10 seconds, now it takes you 1,000 of 1 second because you switched. Or you move and use the magnetical field and you force yourself away if it was this at the speed of light, and if you create a field force here at the speed of light to the power of, let's say, whatever you like, 10. Because now you are sitting in a stronger zone. So by controlling the release of magnetical or gravitational, you decide how fast you link up. And this link with your craft, with your structure, Earth or the Moon, is the same. If you reach a point of balance, that the fields are balanced, you position yourself. This is your position. If you can increase the gradients slowly up, then you start very slow, rapidly, and then you can change it, approach a slow, break, going. You don't have any more breaks. And you don't rely on parachutes that you land safely on the land or the sea. You control by the release of the gravitational magnetic field inside the plasma, your distance, the speed from the beginning to the end, and in the middle. Because now you switch your strength magnetically or gravitationally in respect to the point of reference. The nuclear reactors with the plasma, which are developed for the Iranian government, has a limited control, but still pretty efficient. With a gaseous state and understanding total free plasma, it's a different ballgame. That technology is donkey's time. You're talking about jet propulsion. Centuries ago. But you got to understand the jump and how you can jump, how you can control the plasma, how you control the magnetical and the gravitational. Understand it. It's not difficult. Your difficult problem, or the biggest problem for you, the difficulty is that you live on a planet. Ooh, dried up. You got to bin these. They keep on reappearing. You live on a planet where you've always been aware of your attachment to it, but you always considered there is an air atmosphere. In this atmosphere, you accepted there is a gravity because you can't break yourself from it. But you never understood that it's got a push force of magnetical too. This push force in respect to the sun dictates the position of the earth from the sun. This is a more important power than the gravity if you want to position yourself. The sun has the same. It's got magnetical and it's got gravitational. If you want to fly away from a surface, you tune into its magnetical, not to its gravitational reduction. Anti-gravity word is the biggest nonsense ever entered in the vocabulary of the space technology. Because the scientists never understood that Earth, as much as creates pull, it creates a push because it sends the fields out. When you send the field out, you create a push. If I blow, I create a field push. Magnetic fields, magnetical fields are the same. These are the blows from it. And if you want, your gravitation is you're sucking in. You breathe in, you breathe out, but you control it. The plasmatic gravitational magnetic field is like breathing. What you breathe out, we call it magnetical. What you breathe in, you call it gravitational, because the word gravity in English language means pulling to yourself, gravitating. That's all it means. So anti-gravity doesn't exist in terminology of a spaceship program, because now you understand you're not braking against the gravity. You're using the magnetical fields to create the position. It's like when you're sailing, you get on the wind to go as fast as you like. So you have to, if you want to be successful in the spaceship program, to be able to travel across the space, you got to understand this. And fundamentally, none of you up to now ever understood this. Your system, when it loses weight, it doesn't reduce in gravity. It finds to match into magnetical to get itself repulsed. Near proximity always pays off to use magnetical. So in essence, anti-gravity has no meaning at all. Because if you use this bandwidth, the strength, this being more powerful just pushes you away without you doing anything. Sailing boats have no engines, but they get themselves on the wind, the direction of the flow. You get yourself in the wind's direction of magnetical field of the place. If you understand the separation, you run your reactors, now plasma reactors, in a condition that from here, blue. From here to somewhere here, you use this guy. Because it has more power. You're more closer to the center of the Earth. Like here. You free yourself. From here on, you find this guy. And then, let's say, if this is the surface of the moon, if this is the surface of the moon, you rejected yourself to a distance safe, you take off to the right near place. When you come near, if you carry on with this guy, it hits you right in. Then nearby, you switch over. You reduce in respect to find a cushioning to smoothly come in. So you have to understand this, how it's created, the way it's created, why it's created, the speed of the strength of the creation, which magnetic field, gravitational field you want to tap into, then everything is yours. How you want to process it, how you want to analyze it. In a GANS state, if you remember, you worked on adding, and then you calculated a mass. How do you do it in plasma, which you don't know what it's made of? How do you measure the new standard for plasma? How do you know you have created this and not this to just go right into the center of the system? That's what I said. The new plasma technology which we started, you will see it, it's so simple, explains how you do and you structure yourself towards this process. I told you before, you lot speak about UFOs, and you see them with the light underneath, and the center light, very much as we've seen with the American plane recently. If you see such a structure with a light on it, it means you're dealing with a nearly primitive space people. They're like people who just come to town, change a donkey to a cart. If you understand from the beginning to work with this, you're already with the guys who understand a little bit about how to fly. This UFOs, the structure of what you call UFOs, shows the intellect of the passengers. Or it's like, let's say, you're a rich guy, you got a jet, but you land in, you get into an old motorbike, everyone says, oh, what a poor man. Just to be like the others. You see a lot of people in the caravan sites here, they come with the most expensive caravan, they put down their bicycles and the motorbikes, old ones they brought from Holland, and you think, what a poor people. But the porter cabin costs tens of thousands. So you deal, when you see these kind of structures, you're dealing with these kind of people. So because you can choose to work with the GANs, or you can choose to work with the plasma. But now you have to understand the space technology. There are no parachutes. Your parachute is how you can reverse between the magnetical and gravitational. There are no high-speed boosters. The boosting comes in which level of the destination point, gravitational or magnetic field, you choose. I told you, we enter the age of plasma. You have to take the codes and the understanding of even the GANs, which was an intermediary condition for you to see the path. So how do you extend the knowledge? How do you produce system which at a given point gives the effect you want, or takes you to the given point which you want to get the effect? Now, if you understand, for example, if you build a system that releases the right gravitational magnetic field, and it's you standing here without any clothes, you can have winter or summer. Because now you decide. And you don't need to heat up the whole room, because wherever you go, it's tuned to your field. You feel warm all over. It doesn't matter if you're looking forward or backwards. That's what Earth does with you. If you're moving, flying away from the Earth, you don't feel a cold in the back and a heat at the front, because it releases a field which matches to all the amino acids in your body. And you feel the same right across your body. This is what you have to start understanding the work of the plasma. You don't create a spotlight to see one place. You release a plasma to cover everything which is inside. This is the change of technology. It'll take you some time to understand it, but once you understand it, like the way you start understanding the use of GANs, you start using it, and you see the beauty of the creation. But every step has to be understood, because if you make a mistake here and forget to brake, you're pancake. Parachuting, landing gears, jet propulsion, jet repulsion, this is all toy for the children. Now you understand how to control the space technology in the essence of the creation, not the matter of man's fuel. You don't use, you've seen it, jet propulsion, jet number 4 is blowing, we're a bit there, adjust it. All you need to adjust is which strength of gravitational magnetic field you allow your system to release, and in what to interact exactly with the right fingerprint. It's easier to travel within a space with the monomatters like stars, and then change to composite matters like planets. You always travel in a large, deep distances with monosystem, because you can control it, because this is what you have. no more. When you have a composite of different materials like planets, then it's a little bit of a tricky point, but it's the same way. Because the mono systems usually create monogravitational magnetic field of a specific fingerprint. This star is not even the same with its twin. Because each one of them has a representation slightly in a different position. It's like a fingerprint. No two fingerprints are the same. So try to twist your understanding away from physicality, and you enter the world of plasma, and everything is so much easier. Because this way, you decide what you want from the plasma. And if you use this part of the plasma for making CO2, for making a banana, if you wait long enough, it'll grow back again and give you more. Because the environment decides this is where it's going to be. Unless you chop it, that it does not come any further. Because the center decides what is getting released. It's just a spring which is opening at the same rate. Doesn't matter what you do with it. Unless you can cut it at the end, stop it, then the feedback goes. But the feedback is from the environmental gravitational magnetic field and not from the center. It dictates how much it leaks. That's why neutrons and protons and electrons last millions of years. Because, first of all, the environment decides. Secondly, whatever is leaked is not needed, immediately is returned back by the gravitational field into the center. It's a recycling process. Continuously, whatever is not needed that's given a strength is added back into the soup. It's like a bunch of family sitting around the table. You don't like the soup, no problem. Goes in the pot. Who wants the plate? It's you who decide where it goes. Extend the knowledge in the control of fields and not control of matter. Understand the strength of gravitational magnetic fields, and then you understand it's much easier to play with plasma than matter. And if you can decide and comprehend what field sits where at what strength, very soon you find the emotional plasma strength too. Because emotion is made of fields, it's not something imaginary. And if you can touch it, if you can control it, then you can decide on the future of totality of the structure, be it a human being or another. Then you decide if you're going to strengthen the physicality or the emotion, or you strengthen the emotion, the physicality has to. The same application for everything, exactly the same. The plasma technology, understanding of the plasma, brings a new dimension in world of creation for the man, because now you are in control of what you want. But you learn about the GANs, you learn about the plasma, now start understanding the control of the plasma. In the process of making nanomaterials, in the process of making GANs, in the process of making the beads, in the process of getting to this plasma, you have seen a lot about the behavior of a plasma. But a lot of you were in such a hurry to do something to have an energy that you have missed it. Go back on all the teachings. Go back on all the things which you had. You learned about how plasma behaved, the color of it, the shape of it, the motion of it, and transfer it from the GANs to the world of plasma. Then you will see because a gas is a plasma. Even a matter is a plasma. Then you understand a lot of ways that you already know half of the story. It's just putting the jigsaw together, all the parts are on the table. You've got to take that step of switching from physical observation to believe, to understand that I know what it's going to do, and just find out how you get it to do what you want. You know, you sit in a car, if you push the pedal, it goes faster. But what about if the brake is on, you're still pushing the pedal? You go nowhere, but you get a lot of noise. The same is with the plasma. What happens if you take off the gravitational field, don't let it increase, but you keep on increasing your magnetic field? That's the speed. That's the repulsion. But when it gets to here, it's got the other push again. What's going to happen here? You come to a normal position, somewhere at balance. So you have to find out this is the time to switch over. How fast can you switch over? Or do you lock yourself from the beginning to the gravitational magnetic field of the moon? And when you get near there, you just switch off and let it flow. But if you use here and then switch to this, you find the magnetic field of the moon will give you the break. First of all, you got to learn a new method of control. First of all, you got to understand what it means to control. Does it want to be there, or is the intention to be there? Now we saw with the Chinese. The Chinese are very close to their emotion, due to the way they eat food, primarily to their food consumption. There's a lot to learn from food in control. The Chinese, you've seen him. The guy says, I raise my hand, the machine stops. They reported today, somebody enters the room, fat boy shows reaction. We've seen this before. We've been doing this before, what we said even a few weeks ago here. When we are not the weekends in this building, performance is different than when we are. Field of strength is more at night than when we come during daytime. Doesn't matter what time we come in. The minute we come in, we disturb, changes. So we've seen this. Nothing new Chinese report. But because they reported, now you remember it. It's the stupidity of the way teaching has been going, but this is the way it has to be. But the point for you is, where does the switch come? From gravitational to magnetical, from magnetical to gravitational? Or do we have a resource center of fields which continuously back up what you call the creation of principle? What is the principal matter which in the books I write and refer to? The principle is the reserve tank. The principal matter, what we call in the structure of the matter, is the reserve tank. Everything is in it at bottom strength. It radiates out to the point of the interaction, both at strength to attract and at the strength to let out. Don't forget, due to gravitational magnetic field strength inside it is rotating. So this rotation, as you've seen in a flow, leads to what I call the ribbon effect, which means as it's rotating, so is throwing fields out, because you get a bucket and rotate it. So the fields stream out due to gradient inside it. You've seen it. I explained yesterday in the teaching that what we left here in this bucket in the corner, that plasma has been everywhere and is not necessarily the same position, because the others decide where it's going to be because of the positioning, as you see in here. So this is dynamic. So forever is a ribbon of fields going out. But this has one thing. As the field go out, in the process, the fields have to come back in. Maybe I have to, not to confuse you, use the right colors.
Mr. Kesh,
Yes. He was
there's
here,
a
he left.
problem. Pardon me?
He was here, he left. Yes.
Okay. Well, to whoever's needs to hear this message, Vince has now been cut off. He's offline, and the YouTube now is not broadcasting. So he needs at least a few minutes to. We have to maybe take
Are we
a break.
going on the live stream?
We're still going on live stream right now.
Okay,
Yes.
we carry on till they come
Carry
on.
on.
We can always load up on the YouTube.
Okay, we can always reconnect later then.
You are recording this?
Yeah, we're still recording and on
I'll
live
tell you
stream.
something. We know there is a huge attack set up by the Belgian government on the Keshe Foundation. The Keshe Foundation website in the building of Keshe Foundation has been filtered. The internet people and security people were looking at it yesterday. How come we can get anything in the building
Okay, cool.
except Keshe Foundation? So we are expecting a huge attack, and the people who are supposed to be their friends are behind it. The same as they organized my arrest in Canada. Now they're gone. They don't want the technology to come out because position of loss. They are well expert in computer business. This should be expected from now on, because now we finish with the matter state. You will understand more and more disruptions as further we go in teaching, because the ones who build up websites and put things on the internet, they are well paid by their agents of their governments. I will open up the book one day and then you understand. So, the problem sits in tightness of what you do, and when the plasma rotates, it creates a string of fields which it throws out in its environment. I wonder what happened to our Italian delegation today. But don't forget, the fields, as they are released out, they interact with each other too. It's not all the same. And as they spread out, then they create a field through their interaction, which is weaker. But due to the proximity of the center mass, they get pulled in. So now you see that the gravitational field starts creating. To feed back, find line of connection to the matter. Magnetical fields are first gravitational due to the weakness to the center, are pulled back and generated the second. This is very important for you to understand clearly, because as is of the same strength, it doesn't interact. Once it loses its strength, it's weaker, center is stronger. So you'll find out the gravitational magnetic field starts somewhere just between the two layers, and then it builds up. Yeah, actually, if you look at it, it builds up this way. It's more as this opens up, building more, it builds more, it builds more, it builds more, and then links. So your magnetical fields are the dictators of your gravitational, but because they create through their interaction weaker field, they lock in and get absorbed into the stronger body. This is important. If you understand this, you enter the next step of control of the systems. Because then you decide at this point how much you let go that you can get back. And what you get back is more than what you put out. Because once you create a mayhem, these are stronger, so the interaction releases more, that it feeds more back. This is why in your systems, when you release power, you put 1 in, you get 5 out. The ratio should give you a very good indication of between gravitational and magnetical in the plasma condition. Because your meters are working in the plasma condition, not in the matter condition. So, in a very simple way, you should have all understood, very simple, very, very easy way, this is the ratio, roughly, you have to work on. But this is still in the electron level because your systems are matter state. This is your plasma at the matter state level. So, for every 1, you have, but that shows the power which is sitting in your control. If you understood and you can control this, then you can control which band you want to sit and how fast you want to. Or do you want to reverse it and get attracted back in? Because this is what is the beauty, and you say, how come so much energy? And then if you can rip more out, you move by order of magnitude. Remember, in plasma technology, there's a difference. And those, they say, I don't understand mathematics, but maybe I understand this. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 10 is 100. 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. And 1 times 1 by 1.
10 times 10.
Now you got 1 times 10. There should be 10 there, not the 100.
I've never
Mr.
been
Kish.
to school. In my head, I was too far ahead of you. That's what I missed.
That's right. You're always a step ahead is the problem.
You understand? So you know your reference 1. You understand the point. You understand how to manipulate plasma to go in magnetical and gravitational, all gravitational and magnetical, simply by controlling the environment of the plasma, not necessarily the plasma itself from inside. You dictate what can go in, you can dictate what comes out, you dictate how much at what speed you can suppress or extend the field. Then you go from any position anywhere in the universe according to where in this scale you want to swim. It's more powerful. Don't forget, there is a problem with the matter state, which one, when you use it, is always 70 in the good places, 30, 40% in the bad places due to friction. Here, you don't have that as such. You still have very, very little, because whatever is used, but is used in a new structure, and what is not used, it goes back in to be used again as a structure. This is why in these things you built, the systems you built yesterday, you do that. You take what is needed, and what is not needed, you put back in again. So there is no wastage. It's a conservation of gravitational magnetic field. Because you're dealing with a plasma condition, you are more or less, compared to the matter state, very efficient. Extremely efficient. And now you understand why people report they can put a nanomaterial on the battery and they're running a car with it. But you have a control system. In the new structure of the plasma reactors which we deliver, all that has been taken into account, even in design. You've got to extend the knowledge to a free, unconditional system. And then you decide how you control the fields of the system, magnetical or gravitational. Your gravitational on the beads is the center core. Magnetical is the outer core. But you don't see it. You just look at it as two cores, two bead chains. This collects, and whatever it doesn't need, this takes. And if you see how you collected it, because it's collected it, you need to feed it. You connect the two legs to one, and now you take from this. Because you add the gravitation as you need. This is your control balance system. Understand what you're doing. And don't forget, even yesterday, I was explaining to Armin and Marco, you are amateurs. This is what you made yesterday? Yeah, we didn't have a blue one. Yes, somebody's used a Coca-Cola bottle, I can see. Sorry, Pepsi can. Yeah? This is amateuristic. Why? Look what you've done. You have winded, you have made your core, you put your thingy on, and then what I see is have you seen that disorder in the work of the plasma? When you make your beads, it's a difference between what I say, chicken sandwich and chicken. This way, your fields all over the place. How do you want to accept? You build this, the system doesn't work. I build it, 100% works. Because when I make a bead, like you do, in the plasmas you've seen, this is counted. When I put a bead, take this clearly, and then when I put it in, I bend the head inwards. I dictate where I want the field to go to. You leave your tip that way, you're making a block for the fields to come. You already created the resistance. When you make your second bead, you want to take energy according to what you want. You put your bead this way. And your energy line should go out that way. These should not fall on top of each other. They should be nicely next against each other. Because you are so materialistic, you just look at just to get the result is important. But you can have 10% or you can have 100%. Or you can have more than 100%. When you make these beads, you have to understand the beads have to sit perfectly next to each other. Perfectly in line next to each other. How you put it and how you bend it, you show. You're not dealing with matter state anymore. All you do, you're making it easy for the field to follow. If you put, and then you get, let's say, another system, another bead from here coming in, you want to join it here. What have you done when you put it that way? You already create a field barrier for what is coming in. You want to conserve, you have to show the way you want your bead, the energy to go. Understand is not just somebody does it, but I do it, it doesn't work, because the guy systematically in his head does the job in that way. When you're making these things, when you make these beads, when you have the wires with you, you bound it. If you made a bead, when you put it, you take a bead, you take it in your hand, and you wind it so perfectly that it sits next to each other in a very, very, very tight pack, and then it looks out where you want the field to go. Not just getting in there like it doesn't work. You'll find out sooner or later you have no result because you're feeding the forces backward. You're not dealing anymore with matter state. Everything, the way you think, has to be on a field flow basis. Then you have no problem. You create the perfect, because you see it, you create new designs, you create new conditions. So when you start working with the plasma, forget about the condition of physicality, because these wires are plasma corridors. What you're creating is a road for a plasma to flow between the nanolayers. What happens when you close the road? Where do you expect the field to go? How much pressure you put on your winding? You do the winding first and then nanocoat it, that there is no limitation. This is what both of these guys do. They make the system and then nanocoat it. But if you were nanocoating, you have to watch how much pressure you put, how much layers you destroy. And I keep on repeating till you understand. This is very important, because here you allow, if it's no barrier, you allow 10 to the power of, let's say, 3. When you got barriers, you won't have even that. Because you block the road. You close the freeway. Start understanding how you work, the way you work. If some of you in the future take these nanolayers to the next step, you will see you have the wire in your hand, and somewhere in between you don't see the wire, and then you see the rest of it. Because here you create, you can block and open in certain way in layers, that the gravitational magnetic field in this environment, say in this part of the wire, becomes the same as the environment, and you don't see it. It becomes transparent. Then you start playing. If you do these things, you start enjoying it. You can see half of the wire, you don't see half of them. I've done a lot of these things, but you have to understand what you're doing before you get into it. This is one of the reasons which I oppose the use of nano-coated needles, because if you block it here and then you trap this rest of this, which is another 10.3, into the body of the man, then you see what it is. We measure with the special tools, highly sophisticated, the electric current through the neurosystem. If you've been to the hospitals, if you've been to the medical centers, where people lose their, like in MS, they lose the use of their legs, they want to see how far the nerves are, you go and see what they measure the current flow in the nerve. And then Dr. Ivan Michel showed us in the Sensano, by pressing this wire, we could measure in milliamps. Then you deliver 20, 30 milliamps, where it is 20, maybe nano amps. It will murder. Because when you crush this, Dr. Michel showed us, he won. You remember? He just said, when I squeeze the nano layer, the current comes out quick because the energy is stored in the layers. And it's millivolts. We can measure it. And then millivolts, milliamps. You know what it does to the body? You take it to a hospital and say, measure this for me, and press it, and see what they tell you it does to the brain. So understand what you're doing and understand what is the behavior of a plasma in different states. Is Vince back?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're back on YouTube. Have you heard anything from our Chinese friends?
No, sir.
Do they know if they're online?
Yep, Sohail's there.
Yeah, ask them if they want to join us with the new center.
Sorry, I was just getting my mic set up for YouTube there so that everybody could hear me. Sohail, can you speak?
Or hold your peace forever.
Still waiting for some videos. I was expecting to have something before the workshop here. Does anybody else have some videos?
I have some pictures from the new center.
I have the pictures, but I thought we were waiting for a video.
That's what they sent me this morning, that we're going to receive a video. Can you put the pictures up till Sohail comes, or another one, or somebody else comes on?
Sure. Yeah, just give me a couple moments to do that.
I think Lisa is online. I don't think Lisa is in Shenzhen. Shanghai, yeah. Quite a bit further up. It's quite a bit further up. Is Sohail there? Sohail, would you like to speak? He won't come on after what I asked him yesterday. We got Chinese.
That was Sohail, so I don't think he's in a position to talk at the moment.
Okay. Would you like to show the pictures of the new center they sent us?
Yeah, just give me a moment, please.
They don't have an internet in this new center for the time being. They have a problem there.
Too many email addresses. Just have to go through them. So just give me a moment, please. Rick, are you still there? Can you fill in?
I am here.
Sorry.
Go ahead, sorry.
This is Modris, and I was thinking till we're waiting, maybe I can show you my reactor, if you don't mind.
Who's that?
Modris.
From?
From Malta.
Malta, yes, why not? Are you flying?
Not really.
Show it to us.
So, yeah, I will share my screen. Okay.
Be careful, don't show your programs because they can break into it.
Okay.
Ah, it's got legs.
Yeah, this is, you can adjust the, I will try to change a bit so we can turn.
You're a fat boy.
So there is inside the GANs. So there is the reactors, the star formation is in a vacuum, and also there is inside another GANs. And this is like something mixed together with Arman power reactor, with the wires inside going like, maybe I will show you another picture. Where is, so.
Let's see, stop. This is the naked picture of your system.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can see you used injection syringes as a pipe.
Yes. So like that, it's in a vacuum, and I can put in a water, and there is GANs inside now, in the middle.
In the core or in the pipelines?
In the middle, no, in the, like the syringes makes in a vacuum. So there inside in the middle is like, if I'm going back now, when it's made of, sorry. So you can see it's liquid inside. I didn't cover completely because it's difficult to nano coat. I was use another technique to try to nano coat it. How I can show you quickly that as well. Sorry for moving around like that. There is another thing. I put to nano coat to produce the CO2 and to use the bead, and it will start producing outside the GANs will start dripping from the wires.
That's
you can
normal.
see here.
That's very normal.
Sorry?
That's normal.
Yeah, yeah. So here I did.
Okay, carry on.
So here I to try when I put the silicone on it, it doesn't want to play. So basically, when the silicone was fresh, I was put the GANs on it, so it's a bit stick on it, so it's have the greenish a bit. So when it's white, this is the mixture of the Alex, and I was thinking to cover completely all. Sorry?
It's okay, nothing, it's a joke in the background. Carry on. We just
so basically
a delegation walking in and giving us their wallet as a payment being late. So we said we're going for a chicken lunch because the wallet is very thick.
Cool.
It's a commodity there in Italy. Okay, carry on. It's a beautiful.
So basically, what I did. So this is like Arman reactor, what you showed him to make the power unit from it. So I did the same thing. Just I add inside 3 reactors. So star formation, and with syringes you can adjust to go it closer, further. I actually have the picture which I could show. Sorry for moving around like that.
Way to do it.
So I will show you quickly the. So here you can see, like you can adjust. This is another one reactor. I did three of them.
This is brilliant.
So, and it's a vacuum. Like if you put the silicone here and the top where is the wire comes over, you can put in a water and you can drown it, and the water doesn't come in the system. You just need to cover the water.
Did you nano coat your copper pipes internally?
I was nano coating inside. I put everything like inside. I sealed it, and then I put the caustic inside. So it was inside. Everything was nano coat all together. Like that. And so I was trying to put the electricity, and I find it like if I'm taking from the middle ones, if I put, let's say, 4 volts, I can get about almost 4 millivolts, like how you call it, 4,000 millivolts out from the middle strength. Basically, it's almost how much you give in, it gives out. But in that point, I had with caustic inside. So when there is caustic is not inside, it doesn't give anymore that that amount of voltage. So I was thinking, ask to you, should I put the caustic inside? Because in here, like when you say the, sorry for that again, a lot of pictures. So there is inside a lot of mixtures of the GaNs in the ball itself. I use there is CO2, copper oxide, then there is CH3, and then they are treated with banana, treated with coconut. Then I got the shavings of the keys when they use the iron, they use stainless steel, and they use the brass, and I put them all together in nano coat, and I left for about 6 months in the caustic, and they all got black, and then when I add a bit water, I saw like very dark, almost blackish brown GaNs, and I add that one as well there inside. So basically what it's done, it's have the inside, like from the where there is the walls, the wire goes in, and in the middle. So like that, if I've drawn from the middle, it's kind of, I could say it's like from the north to the south. And if we draw from the outside, so it goes around the equator. I didn't cover all. When you see where is the legs of the syringes, I was start covering with this titanium and another GaNs mixture. And because it's difficult to nano coat this one, so I thinking to cover it all, to have this way nano coated. I think it should be a good way of nano coating as well. And I need your opinion about that. What do you think?
Are you drawing any energy from it?
Each time when I was I was using another ones, and each time when I was connecting to the main source, I had small explosions. So no.
Do you know why?
I didn't connect correctly.
No,
I know
it's using so much energy.
Okay, yeah, actually, I before when I was sometimes, let me quickly just say, like when I did a bit of light, when I connect the light a bit, I mean, if you have a shortcut, I know how it is when it's shortcut. That one was like something like when you're wilding, you have extremely white, and then you have green, and you have blue, and and for a long time I could not see anything because a bit blind, like you was just looking very, very bright sun.
Because you're producing a DC, the polarity is important. If you get your polarity correct, and make sure your plug has got no earth connection, you should get no, what do you call it? No bursts. It means check your input and output, check your polarity, positive, negative, you call it, and same with your plug, and make sure you do it the right way. In if you look in the system we have here,
I stopped sharing maybe.
Let me find it, because I've got to find it where we connected it. At the point of connection, we put actually in the plug, yes, here it is. In the plug, we indicate, we hardly do this, but with this plasma, you have to do it. If you look at it, even in the plug, we have signed positive, negative. It's very important. You get the polarity, you will not get a problem.
All right.
So it's because you're dealing with a DC-AC in the matter state. When it comes to plasma, you get it the wrong way, you create a backflow. You get a sparkling, or you get a sparks, or whatever you call it. Okay, carry on. It's very nice.
Okay, I will share my screen again, and there is
Just so
something.
you know, Mr. Kesh, I do have those pictures ready in the background whenever we're ready. Okay, Mr. Kesh?
Yes, does the whole Keshe Foundation worldwide would like to go for a chicken lunch? We have the wallet from the Italians. It's very heavy. Go ahead. Have you finished showing us your reactor?
I want to show something else.
Okay, please go ahead.
So I made 3 those reactors already, basically, and I was thinking because it's difficult to load exactly the same, so I thought I have the pipe. If you see here, I have a pipe, water pipe, which could so I could make the small hole somewhere in the side of that reactor, and so basically it's like I can make it these inside GANs run through the pipes. So like that, at least they would become like in one type of field, and I can transfer from the one reactor to another one the fields, the plasma, basically. So here on the with this writing, I was trying to show from the top the star formation, and when it goes through. Is some comments on that part?
No, it's beautifully done. In a way, you have shown physically what we said. If you want to take a magnetic or gravitational out, how you do it. You've got a beautiful demonstration for that. But the new generation of the systems which you are building, more or less, should have no GANs in them.
Yeah, there will be more GANs. This is exactly what I'm saying. There will, because in these reactors, I mean on those, this is the balls. Each of these small balls is a star formation, and like I have inside on those star formation the GANs. So it's all GANs will run through the tubes.
I think he said we'll be using less GANs, not more GANs. Could you clarify that, Mr. Kesh?
Yeah, sorry.
We're getting to the point of not using GANs at all.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking this a bit Stone Age right now, what I'm showing.
We'll show
I'm in a similar situation with the Tesla bifilar coil that I made that's using tubing and using GANs in the tubing. Is this a step backwards in a way? But it could be an interesting learning experiment to just try it and see if you can work with it.
Yeah, and it's also if it could produce the stronger fields, and maybe we can feel it, the boundaries of it, because there one tube will go in one direction, another one goes in an opposite direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of what I had in mind as well.
Yeah, I actually was looking on yours. I think I got idea from you, so it's not everything mine.
With yours, tell me how you expect. Are you pumping into each?
Yeah, you see the small the square what I made. So it's like they go in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like from one side it's pushing in one direction, and from another it's comes back.
Sure.
So when you see in the middle, so here you only see the green part going in the ball. So in the end, you kind of connect them both go in. So like that, it's changed the direction. It started going backwards.
Right, and the one that goes backwards, does it connect with the other balls as well to?
No, it goes by side.
Okay. Whereas the green actually connects with each ball.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
But the same GANs goes through the system.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
interesting. Okay. So you're going to build that next? Is that your plan, or?
It's Yeah, basically. The manual give me to make design the copper balls, and we actually can do the same thing with the copper, with the copper balls.
Are you working with Joe or with Manuel?
With the Manuel Spiteri from Malta, we came together.
Emmanuel wrote a letter to the Prime Minister of Malta yesterday or the day before. If Malta is not falling behind, we better do something. It's very much in line with the background. Have you finished? Or
yes, I'm finished. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for showing us a beautiful system.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
It is a very simple way to do the job with the syringes. Because now you can reposition it as you like, where you like in the system. It's a very imaginative, but it's working perfect. Our reactors is fixed. You can move it, pull it, whatever you like. But the only thing is we finished with the GANs. So we're going to go to the next step. You will see the new dimensions in the production of these systems. Do you want to show us, or is Sohail there to show us anything from China?
I'm not sure if he's there to show us, but I do have lots and lots and lots of pictures.
Okay, go slowly. This is the opening of the Keshe Foundation on Tuesday in Shenzhen. It's a research center, hopefully. Fact, anything comes off it scientifically goes to the, what do you call it, magna, omega, what do you call it, quantum, for development and commercialization. That's what Sohail is sitting there for. And other people in China that they can commercialize anything they discover. This is a fat boy. Can you open it? Yeah, this is a fat boy. They're all taking picture of it. Have you got a picture of them standing outside?
Sorry, I was muted there while I was talking. I apologize. Let me try to get the other mic working too, if I can find the button.
The fat boy has lost 8 grams, I think, per stage, or losing 8 grams, so it's going to take some nutrition. And when people come in, it changes its field. This is the Keshe Foundation in China, the research center they've opened up. It's a lot of, as you see, young people with a lot of knowledge. And so it's the second research center after here. Now we see the one in, what do you call it, London, which, what do you call it? It's Keshe Foundation for Peace, World Peace. That's what the plan is. Any other pictures?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find some of the beginnings here, like this one. Here we go.
Yeah, that's the conference center. As you know, the next international conference of Keshe Foundation next April is in China. So we will have a pleasure to see their operation. Strange enough, we don't see Sohail anywhere, but he was there. That's a little boy, that's a fat boy. If you're in China or you go to China, go to the center, support them, or we learn from them. There are a bunch of very highly intelligent people in the development. That's a fat boy, very small. This guy should fly. There are a lot of fat boys on that table. This is a Coca-Cola one with finger stick to it. It's half fat boy. There's another fat boy with a gauge on top of it. Everyone's frantic with fat boy.
Yes, I was going to say there's a few pictures that I'll just quickly go through a few more that they were, of course, around the reactor trying to feel the fields. I think they already reported to you that they were able to feel the fields around them, and it was causing disturbances in phones and that kind of things as well.
Yes, it covers quite a bit distance. They can measure the fit. These are the small new combination of gases and controls they do. I think cameras were made for Japanese and Chinese.
Okay, so that's the pictures that we have.
Thank you very much. So now you see the Keshe Foundation has gone from institute to international by the people, and that was what we wanted from the beginning. And now adding Canada and London and India to it, and hopefully we'll have the guys in Kenya and South Africa soon on our board. We'll see we are going very fast in one track, sharing knowledge freely and unconditionally without patents. So it can be done. And the beauty of it is we're all busy at it, and some have already started commercializing it without a patent, because the problem with this technology is so simple. And the biggest problem with it, as I always say, there is not many people. If you can serve even that much of it, you're happy. So you need 1,000 companies to cover all of them, that many, to be in business. And most of you, you're very happy if you have 7,000 customers. So it means we need 1 million factories just to be able to see the energy demand. What's the need to patent? What's the need to cover up? And then if you look at it, I estimated once there are at least 20 million different ways for the plasma technology to be used. And then you see how many factories and how many new jobs are online to be created. Have you ever seen a plasmatic fire extinguisher? Can you imagine? And it's very easy to build. It's one of the easiest things to build. So that goes for one job. Extra half, His Excellency Rizal Pahlavi said, they make 20,000 different items out of oil. $2.50 a barrel is worth it. That's what the price of oil in 1972. And at that time, they were making 20,000 different products from oil. Are we getting robbed? Now, plasma, you got 20 million. And it's free, not even $2.50. The oil crisis came in 1972 when he said 20,000, $2.50 is not, we want $4. West went crazy. Power cuts. Now imagine how much the West goes crazy with so much freedom. It's unlimited jobs. Cars which can fly, syringes which never go in your blood, changing heart position, new measuring equipment for flight, new measuring equipment for energy, building structures which have no bricks. If you can build it for the aircraft, you can make it at home. You can change the position of the reactor, you change the internal decoration of the house. Color ranges is unlimited. So there should not be a fear, it should be excitement. There is a new generation. Italy will have not enough people to support the changes, where at the moment 50% is unemployed. So understand the position, and secondly, as I said, now is in the hand of the youth. And you've seen Chinese Keshe Foundation, they're all young people. They will fly with this thing. So understand the interaction of the plasma, understand how you control the plasma. If you want a magnetical or you want gravitational. If you want to have a balance between both gravitational and magnetical. If you want to bring another gravitational magnetical to interact or influence this gravitational magnetical field. That's why you have 3 base reactors and 1 upper reactors in your flight. Doesn't matter how you fly, because it dictates if you take from or add to in the direction of the motion. You see in your reactors all 3 moving in anti-clockwise, and the top one does the same. What does it do? The fields here go this way. The fields here go this way. The fields here interact this way. The fields here interact this way. Because it's upside down. So, which one increases to your magnetical? Which one increases to gravitational? Do you need to change this for a short time to increase magnetical in that direction? Because the actual principal reactor sits in a free plasma in the center. Which side of it do you want to cut in to increase it or decrease it? That dictates directional flow. Now you understand the total principle, even in the creation of your own cell, amino acid. How does the amino acid plays the game? If you have a hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen, how do they sit inside each other as a plasma? Because this is a matter state. In a plasma state, that's how they operate. How do you want the gravitational magnetic field of the oxygen to go to planet Zeus, or you want the hydrogen to go to the moon? How much of each one you give and you take? Then you understand the process of control of gravitational and magnetic. Which one you allow to rotate in which direction to be a friction or adding. Now you see the book opens up. Do you want your field to be a straight line? Or would you like to send a field which is still in rotational? Which means it can bring energy and increases in the strength as it reaches point of interaction. Because you decide how the fields are released. What happened to your lady friend? I am not here. I'm not here. Bring her to the center. Okay, she can come. So you got to extend the knowledge in the right order. You got to understand the totality. If you release the field in mono or multiple or in a straight line or in a bend or in a twist or in a hexagon. When he talks, there's a problem. So understand it. If you can go a step backwards in how you can create fields which can emit at a gravitational strength of certain speed. This is the future of the communication through plasma technology. You can send a message instantaneously. Our cameraman, please. You got the problem? With the audio. We always have a problem with audio. It's the panel transfer, or we do it direct. Here, there's a problem with acoustic, part of it. Part of the problem and the software which we use interaction. But it's just another week. After this week, the new auditorium and the new teaching is totally different. We don't have this kind. Here was made cheap to look expensive. They could drop the EU. So you got to push into the direction of how you can manipulate, in what senses you can manipulate. This is all needs to be understood that you can enter the plasma technology. You have to trust your instinct. You have to understand what I think, what I do is correct for what I want to achieve. Because now you don't have an engine to see running if it's going left and right, turn or right hand turn, or if it's going faster or smaller or speeder. It goes totally the way you connect through your soul with emotion. Then you understand why all the time we were teaching about the soul, we're teaching about the emotion. Because it's made of the same fields, it's made from this material. Your emotion cannot be anything different than what it's made of, which is a copper, zinc, amino acid, and that's it. It cannot be at the strength of uranium, which is from another planet, different understanding. But that's what you have, that's what you got to live, and you understand through this, you can manipulate. So how you interact without the physicality, it becomes part of your nature. You know it's going to be there. You don't have to worry about it because now you've seen there is no system, you're putting energy into the grid. So there must be something right. What is our reading today now? What were we this morning? Now you're 86.7 and 15.7. So we're still feeding the national grid. So there is energy. How do you want to convert it? How do you want to change this grid and this structure to a useful way for what you need? To start understanding, I put such a thing in such a place, gives me such a field. What I do, I put something else to create another field in different position. The point which I would like to ask for our Chinese Keshe Foundation group is to get in touch with the other Keshe Foundation groups who have laboratories, not people who are single people working on their own, to set up a structure amongst the Keshe Foundations. In the background, we know the young scientists who are coming up without the experience of how to set up production, how to set up research center. Mike Nash, Nassim Nassif, yeah, and others are setting up a support groups for new scientists, people with experience in the world of different aspects of computer program, cameras, and the rest, and setting up factories. They are building up a support system for the new cash foundations to be able to produce and have access to the science from other cash foundations. So this was his idea, and I supported it. And now they're trying to set up a supporting organization as a cash foundation support team, like in Ghana or whatever. Wherever we set up the cash foundations that they go into production, they have access to management skill. Most of these are science people who are from the no business background, but they have the new technologies they want to market for their nations. So very soon, most probably you will see it on the direct link on the Cash Foundation. You develop something new, you think it can be done, they put you in touch with the Cash Foundation of the nation, or they support you to develop it, and we support it from the Cash Foundation headquarters in financing the productions and the rest of it. The condition only we have, the minute you enter, you submit with the group, your technology becomes common property of the rest of the Cash Foundations too. If you're scared of, you want to give it to yourself, you can stay with yourself. But if you enter and get the support from the Cash Foundation, as much as their products are for you to produce in your country, your material becomes for them to produce in theirs, and that's how we support each other. So the support group will be soon up and running, most probably next week or two, and get themselves together. And if you develop something new, Cash Foundation headquarters will support financial support, and they do the voluntary work or whatever they do to see you getting through producing it. Or if it cannot be done in your country, they produce it in other Cash Foundation subsidiaries of whatever they've set up, and it goes back on the same process. So we support you to bring your inventions very rapidly into production. You have a say on the profit of it, where you want to go. You have a say on how you want it to be developed, but when it's the hand of the other Cash Foundations, they can develop different versions of it that it suits them or whatever. So we've done the same thing with Alex. We've done the same thing with the boy, the 18-year-old boy in India. We're backing him up, and the team will support him. He can set up at the age of 18 his own production company, his own research facilities, but as a Cash Foundation India. He's already in the past 24 hours set up the Cash Foundation India himself to do it. So we make all the facilities. If you're youngsters or old and you develop something new, we are prepared to come in and help. We don't ask for any returns. If you like to put the returns back into the foundation and we can support others, that's how it works. So the support is totally free, nothing charged. We don't ask for any return. But if people like Sohail donate the company back partially to the foundation that we can finance the rest, is there to be done. So the process of expansion and rapid development is in hand. And if anybody who's now achieved lift allow us to show the lift, please inform us. We know who you are. You send us things. We send things in the background. As I said, I keep silent. You decide. But I need your permission to show and to come forward to show the flight systems you've achieved. Anything else for today? We've gone past our 3 hours of Thursday mornings. We usually do about 2.5, 3 hours. Unless there are questions. Are there any questions in the background? No.
There are questions. Do we want to address them now or have them for this afternoon?
Nope, I'm not here this afternoon because they're trying
to
make the beats. Yeah. Ask me the question and I'll try not to answer as usual.
Okay, let me see. There's not too much in the chat, but in the live stream there are some questions such as just a second here, I have to go back. Question from Sinisa. Can we control Earth in respect to the sun and other celestial bodies? In other words, can we fly Earth out of our solar system?
You can try, but I don't think you'll succeed.
Yes, there was a following comment that the Earth is from Tracy saying the Earth is a living being. She might have something to say about moving.
She's have a say about moving. I'm not moving. As
Yes.
Thatcher said, women are not for turning. So
Yes. So Nadine makes a comment about that too. I believe so, definitely. It depends on the positioning of our consciousness, what timeline or field strength we will experience. We can create a shielding or magnetism or attraction or gravity. I thought that was an interesting comment, that the concept that we create our own shielding or attraction, repulsion or
we
attraction.
already do. We already,
Yes.
we already have in our everyday normal day. One of
Right.
our first magnetic gravitational shielding is our skin. Then it's what they call it aura, which is a magnetic field without tangible body. If you become conscious and become controller of your emotion, you can extend this to kilometers. Because what goes out on the magnetic gravitational field feeds back.
Mr. Kesh, can I ask about the consciousness part?
Have you paid your fee for today?
Yeah, more than that, actually. Yes. Mr. Kesh, when you talk about when you become conscious, I mean, there are some people, who talk about, I'm conscious of this, I'm conscious of that. But when you say become conscious, what do you mean by that exactly?
Being aware of?
Well, I am aware, but there is something more to that.
Receiving the fields in a correct order. When you're conscious of something, does not matter how the field comes, you see it in the order which is actually made. I can color it, I can hide it, I can twist it, but when it gets to you, it's exactly as it was said from the beginning. There is no Chinese whisper in the passing of the fields, what you call consciousness. That's good. No, at least it's not as bad as the first year when you come in with the telephones. Okay, next question.
There's a question from Freed. Is the Keshe Foundation in any way present at the Expo 2015 in Milan?
No. I met with the director last year, and it wasn't something we were interested in. I met with the director of the Milan Expo. He tried to help us with a couple of other issues we had regarding the expansion of technology. Extremely talented guy. But it's strange enough, he's out of job when the expo is finished. Yeah, I met him in the main building, the tall building in Milan, where his headquarters are. No, we are not. We met with them regarding another matter, but no, not something we ever considered.
And there was a question from Hans. He says, Mr. Keshe, I would really appreciate if you could explain about how to make shielding against synchrotron radiation. I believe this is a huge problem specifically for knowledge seekers, or especially for knowledge seekers.
I don't know. And what is synchrotron?
Synchrotron.
Yeah, what is synchrotron?
That's what people are asking. What is synchrotron radiation and so on? And
I know what buffering is. I know what synchrotron is. But what do you think only Keshe Foundation guys suffer from it? It's a mental state.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's no synchrotron radiation coming from the reactors that you deal with, is there?
Yeah, but what does Wikipedia say about synchrotron?
Okay, we'll have to check that in.
Or it doesn't exist like Cache does. They decided it's so secret it should not be known. You know that. They deleted me because I was supposed to be so secret nobody should know I exist. That's why Wikipedia took me off.
Okay. Synchrotron radiation is the electromagnetic radiation emitted when charged particles are accelerated radially.
Okay, if you suffer for such a thing, I've heard this. So let me give you a tip. If you're targeted electromagnetic radiation by any means, build yourself a reactor, star formation reactor, make it constituents of all the materials which are on Earth, which electronically can be adjusted. So what you make is a free plasma, which contains all of it, and absorbs everything. Finish. One of the best things for this is to buy the most colorful ceramic you can buy, fill it with as many gases as you like, and let it run.
Wouldn't it also produce the magnetic or the repelling effect of all those fields as well?
Pardon?
I said, wouldn't it repel or produce the magnetic effect of all those fields as well?
In a way, you attract it or repel, you create a magnetic or gravitational. Silica is one of the best in totality. Can you go on the Wikipedia and look at silica? What is the atomic mass of silica? Yeah.
Silica is actually silicon dioxide.
Yeah.
And it's a chemical compound. It's an oxide of silicon with the chemical formula SiO2. Has been known since ancient times. Commonly found in nature as quartz.
What is the mass of it?
Okay. They have it's a molar mass of 60 grams per mole. I think that's the number you want.
Well, this is the reason you can use it. And because it's the neurosystem of the nerves of the tissues, you'll find out it works perfect. And silica is part of the constituent of ceramic. You understand? So, next question.
Maybe we should ask if there's anybody in the actual conversation here that has anything else to add, Rick?
No, we're all hungry. Is it dinner time or lunchtime?
Yes, I think that's the main point. Is we should
some of us are going for breakfast.
Yeah, I think we should allow you guys to have a break here, and
yeah, no problem. Thank you very much for today. We welcome the Keshe Chinese Research Group into the Keshe Foundation family, and hopefully in September we'll see more of. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you.
And thanks to everybody for attending today. This is the 71st Knowledge Seekers Workshop, and it's Thursday, July 23rd, 2015.